The Halo TV show on Paramount Plus was an absolute disaster. It was awful across the board. Not even for Halo fans such as myself, but just as a TV show, it was all-round fucking shithouse, man. It was terrible. Look, I'm not going to get into all the reasons why I did not like this show. I've got many videos over on this channel, with many live streams on this channel, by myself and with others talking about why this show sucks ass. But one reason that has to be highlighted specifically for this video was the character of Master Chief. There was no Master Chief in this show. There was only Master Cheeks, played by Pablo Schreiber, who, I don't know how, managed to get away with taking some digs at fans, which seem to have slipped through the cracks, but I certainly noticed them, and I'm sure some of you noticed them. So now he's back in the news because he's had a follow-up interview since the Season 1 had finished. Halo's Pablo Schreiber says his Master Chief, that's supposed to say Master Cheeks, was meant to be slightly uncomfortable for fans. Slightly uncomfortable. What the most uncomfortable thing about it was the sex scene. But I'm no prude. I'm far from the biggest prude. But that sex scene was a bit fucking bizarre. Look, there was nothing uncomfortable about it except for the fact that it was a terrible representation of the character of Master Chief. That's why we've all taken to calling him Master Cheeks. So, having walked more than a virtual mile in Master Chief's shoes on console, seeing Halo's protagonist on our television screens was always going to take some getting used to. That's absolute fucking bullshit. We were all looking forward at some stage to seeing Master Chief on our screens in a TV show or a movie. That would have blown our fucking minds. Instead, all that happened was Master Cheeks blew his load into a human Covenant spy. Far from being the shoot first, ask questions later hero of the video games, the Halo series opted for a more introspective take on Master Chief. That whole sentence is bullshit. Look, the thing is, with the video games, specifically the Halo trilogy, 1 through 3, the Bungie trilogy, while you play as Master Chief in all of them, there's a lot more to Master Chief than what we see in those games. Granted, I will die on the hill that those 3 games are incredible, and there is more than enough starting points for the character of Master Chief, but there's so much more to Master Chief than just shoot first, ask questions later. That, of course, includes the soldier taking off his iconic helmet and showing his face for the first time. Not the first time. Not the first time. They showed his face in the animated adaptation of the CGI adaptation, of Fall of Reach. We see his face in that. Seeing Chief's face is nothing new. We know what he looks like if you follow the lore outside of the games. Our problem with him taking off his helmet was, at this particular time, during the Human Covenant War, we should not be seeing his face. And the whole thing came across as Pablo just having to show off his face to have his own face on the screen. It just screams not giving a fuck about the character itself and caring more about your own ego and pushing yourself forward when really you should be trying to portray Master Chief. Again, he didn't. He portrayed Master Cheeks. In a new interview with SFX Magazine in a special Pride issue featuring Netflix's The Umbrella Academy on the cover, Master Cheeks actor Pablo Schreiber has addressed what appears to be a very deliberate severing of connection between fans and the iconic Spartan. Well, that's what we've been saying the whole time, that it is not Master Chief. It's Master Cheeks. So I feel like he's just validated us in that moment right there. That's not Master Chief. And to deliberately sever the connection between diehard fans such as myself from Master Chief, it's like, well, why would you do that? You've instantly taken away a lot of our care for the show. Granted, I believe that my care for the show died the second they said it was not canon. It was Silver Timeline bullshit, and then everything else in that show was just fucking ridiculous. It was just total trash. So here we have a quote from him. The process of the first season was kind of breaking the relationship that people had with Chief, of knowing and recognizing him as themselves, Schreiber explains. I hate this argument. It is not we see ourselves in Chief. Oh, Chief never takes his helmet off so that way anyone can be Master Chief in the video games. No, motherfucker. Master Chief is his own character. His name is John. He is his own character. He's not some blank slate. You want a blank slate Halo character? Noble Six is a blank slate Halo character. We knew going into it that it was going to be a very slightly uncomfortable experience for many viewers because of how long they've lived with this patagram of Chief. But the idea is for a long-term television series, hopefully that discomfort will be the first season, and breaking that will pay off in long-term relationship that you'll have to get with this guy. That's fucking ridiculous. Absolute fucking nonsense. I feel like we've just been validated. Master Cheeks, Pablo Schreiber has just validated us. God willingly, Season 2 gets cancelled before it comes out, Netflix Cowboy Bebop style. What a trash fucking show.